Good afternoon or evening, depending on what side of the pond you're on, and welcome to an extra special episode of Across the Pitch. My name is Phil Kennedy, and I'm joined today by Tony Robinson, where we're going to talk with Accrington Stanley defender Aji Alese about his career with, he started with the West Ham Academy. He's also played with the England international youth teams, the under 16 through under 19 levels. And now he's on a full season loan with Accrington Stanley. Welcome to the show, Aji, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I hope everything is well with you and your family, and I take it you're back home in London and you're keeping safe?
Yes, well, thank you. I'm back in London at my family home, all just following the guidelines that are set at the minute and trying to keep safe.
Well done.
And you were born in London, and then you've signed on with the West Ham Academy, and that's where you've been with since July of 2018. Is that correct? That's when you started your career with West Ham?
I've been at West Ham since I was about 8 years old, actually. So
okay.
Since about maybe 2009. But I signed my first professional contract in July of 2018.
Yeah, I think you signed a 3-year deal to 2021, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And then it was this September when you went on loan to Accrington, and then back in January you extended that out for the full season. What was it like moving from London to Accrington? I've heard a few guys say that's a pretty big change.
Yeah, it's a very big change. Accrington's a lot different from London. It's a lot smaller. There's a lot less people. It's my first time away from home, so I had to get to grips with that. And it's my first time playing men's football, so I had to try and adapt to that as well.
And we were talking with Joe Bursick the other day, and he said that you and him live in Preston in kind of houses next door and ride to the park together. And I see that, you guys have both been on the England under 16, 17 teams and such. Did you ever play with him in the international games as well, or was that when you guys kind of got to Accrington the first time you'd met each other?
Yeah, the first time was in Accrington. He's born in 2000 and I'm a 2001, so we never played together internationally.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that he was kind of always 1 year ahead of you. Like, for instance, he'd be on under 17, he'd be under 16, but there isn't any practice that happens where you guys play against each other in those teams or anything like that.
No, not really. That doesn't really happen. No.
Yeah.
So when you go to St. George's in the training, your group, say if you're with the under 17s and that, your group is basically separate from the other different other years, are they?
Yeah. So when we're all at St. George's, sometimes if an older age group need to play, they might pull one from a younger age group. But a lot of the time, different age groups will be in different countries. So we might be in Spain and they'll be in Germany or so. So it's not actually that much time that everyone's together at St. George's at the same time. So sometimes we do see each other, but a lot of the time we're in different countries and whatnot. So
when you're there, you don't always, you could be training with your own age group and the senior team maybe off somewhere or whatever. So it's not always a big group dynamic.
I think it's quite rare that players will be pulled to older age groups, but sometimes the first team will pull 21s and then the 21s will pull 20s. So that does happen once in a while.
And then you've come over to Accrington this year, and you've spent most of your time at center back. You've also played some of the left back position. What's your preferred position to play?
I think I'd have to say centre back is my preferred. Obviously, I'm happy to play left back, but I think I do prefer centre back just because it's a lot less running.
So you're one of the guys that likes to stay back and kind of be the guy back holding the fort on defense and Now, with Mark Hughes having been recently injured and out for the season, you've stepped in and been filling in for him. Some correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We've had a few injuries recently, so in more recent games, I've gotten a bit of a chance at centre back.
Yeah, I saw that you'd played left back a few times recently, and then in the Oxford, you were back at centre back in that match.
Yeah, I played left back against Rotherham, where I came back into the team, and then Oxford, went back into centre half after Mark was injured.
I think one of the things with playing centre back, and this is one thing I read about you, is that West Ham said that, and I quote, he's a prodigious talent, blessed with pace and natural reading ability of the game. That must be obviously something that's very important when you're a centre back. You're the last line of defence, as they say, in front of the keeper. To be able to read that game, obviously is important for your position.
Yeah, I do think being able to read the game in front of you is very important as a centre back, because a lot of the time you come up against attackers that are blessed with pace more than you are. So to have that edge of like knowing where the ball's going to land or where they're going to take their first touch or just being in the right position, it's very important, because sometimes if they get past you, like there's no catching them and whatnot, and obviously you're the last line of defence. So.
Yeah, traditionally, centre backs aren't known for people with players with having pace, but that's an added asset when you have pace, because obviously it's important on defence, but also when the team, with the style they play, like to break up the field. So that's important to have the pace, and I bet you it comes in handy for you.
Yeah, it does, especially against the fast strikers.
Now, Peter Latham, who is the chairman of the Accrington Stanley Supporters Club, and he's also the one that arranges these interviews, he usually sends in a few questions for us, and we call that Peter's Corner. And Peter did send us in a few questions for you here this morning. One of the ones that he sent in kind of goes back to what we were talking about on your international play. That you played for your countries at all levels, under 16 through under 19. So he wanted to know, apart from yourself, who are some of the guys that you've played with that we might want to keep an eye out on?
A few names that I've played with internationally that are breaking into their first teams at their respective clubs. Mason Greenwood at Manchester United.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing very well at the moment. Bukayo Saka at Arsenal.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know him. He's doing real well this year.
Yeah, he's doing very well. There's Curtis Jones at Liverpool, who scored that goal against Everton. Don't know if you remember it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of names. Like a lot of our team are like breaking into their first team and doing very well at the moment. So there are lots of players to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, that was one of the questions that Peter sent in, and then. Another question that he sent in, we had kind of touched about this a little bit earlier, but he also wanted to ask about your move from London and just kind of how you've settled in Accrington, and if you're enjoying the town and the club and things like that.
Moving from London up north was very difficult at first, because it was the first time I've been away from home, but being next to Joe Persick helped a lot, like coming in together, driving into matches together, going shopping together, just helping me with my flat, going out for dinner together, stuff like that. Just someone to speak to, like, who's in the same position as I am. And he's only a year above me, so that really helped a lot.
Yeah, you got a lot in common, and obviously that'd be of comfort and help you in even though Joel's just a year older. I mean, he's been on loan before, so I imagine he can sort of assist you along the way and make it a bit more easier for you to adapt to the new environment.
Yeah, 100%. Him being next door to me definitely made it 100 times easier.
And I think this is one of the things we don't realize, Aji, as fans that watch the matches on Saturday. We don't, a player comes in on loan and they want to see how well he does and what's he going to bring to the team. I don't think people realize the all the other things that come with it, especially at a young age when it's your first time away from home. It's a big adjustment, and I think hopefully when we tell these stories on our podcast, it'll give people a bit of more understanding and of what you're going through. It's a big step in your life.
Yeah, definitely. I think if I wasn't playing football, this would be around the time I'd go to uni. So it's kind of a similar thing, moving away from home for the first time. But yeah, there's lots of things that like go on off the pitch that I'm learning at the moment, like cooking for myself and whatnot.
Now, one of the things that we've heard over and over again from different guys that we've talked to is that Accrington really just kind of provides a nice family atmosphere where it's almost not like a football club. It's more like a family where the chairman will come down and shake your hand, that type of thing. I imagine that's probably made things a little bit easier too.
Yeah, 100%. Like from the first day I walked in, everyone's friendly, everyone's calm. Like there's no hostility. Like you just get on well with everyone. Everyone gets on well, which is the perfect thing.
Yeah, it's just with it being a small club and it doesn't have obviously the personnel, the staff that like bigger clubs and academies like West Ham and bigger teams. I think this is an important part of your growth. And is that something that the club like West Ham is wanting you to learn? So it sort of helps you grow on and off the pitch.
Yeah, definitely. I think me coming to Accrington's like a big learning curve for me to then go back to West Ham and carry on improving there. So everything that's happening at Accrington on and off the pitch is just going to help me in later life and later on in my career.
Yeah, I imagine that right now the biggest thing for you is just getting out on the pitch and logging those minutes and getting experience.
Yeah, at times this season where I've been on the bench, I'm just like itching to play, but I have had opportunities and hopefully before the season ends, like there'll be a few more.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're really looking forward to is that the football hopefully can get going again. I mean, of course, everybody's health and safety is number one right now. But when football does get back going, I think that, of course, not the way that you wanted to get the opportunity with Mark having an injury, but it was certainly getting to the point where you were probably going to be seeing a lot more of the pitch due to that injury. And I think that the one thing that probably works in your favor is with the position that you do play, you're right there in front of Joe and you and him have that communication together too.
Yeah, of course. I'd never wish injury upon anyone else, but the situation that we found ourselves in was sort of a good opportunity for me. I'd played a few games against Rotherham and Oxford and then got dropped from the team, and it looked as though I was going to be back in the team. But of course, the season's been suspended for the time being. But at the moment, everyone's health and safety is number one. So that's the most important thing at the moment.
Yeah, like you said there about, injuries are part of the game. And sometimes that's, the chance when a player gets in, and you've got to take the opportunity whenever it presents itself and just show the gaffer, what you can do. And unfortunately, sometimes, as you say, it's when an injury takes place. But as a player, you've just got to do what you do. You got to do your job and just do the best you can, and hopefully things work out for you.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities in football do come from injuries. So I've just got to try and be ready, and whenever the opportunity comes, take it.
There's a story there, Phil. I can't remember the fellow's name. This is going back a few years in a baseball where the fellow was said he got a headache and he sat out, and the guy came in.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about this actually goes all the way back to the 1930s. Wally Pipp is the guy that you're talking about.
Yeah.
He sat out a game because he had a headache, and the next guy that came in was Lou Gehrig, and he went on to play 2,500 games in a row. So it's all about taking that chance when it comes your way.
Yeah, that's my point. Is you get an opportunity comes up, and you just got to run with it, and sometimes that's the way it works.
Yeah, it shows the importance of just being ready all the time because you never know when that opportunity is going to come.
And that must be hard on the bench if you're on, say, if you don't start, you're on the bench, and then you get called on. I mean, sometimes there's an injury occurs during the match when maybe a substitute wouldn't be required. You've got to be, not only mentally but physically get prepared really quick, don't you?
Yeah, I think being on the bench, you have to prepare the same you prepare if you were starting, because you do never know what can happen. They could be ill before the game. They could be injured in the first minute. So you got to prepare as if you're playing the game.
Now, Tony, you have some kind of fun questions that we like to ask on the show here. I think now might be a good time to ask some of those fun questions.
Yeah, we have a section, Aji, we call a rapid fire. That's just some fun questions that we sort of throw out at the players. So if Phil, if you've got your sound effects ready, can we cue them up? Okay, we'll just have some, as I say, some fun questions. First one is around music. Would you prefer Beatles or the Rolling Stones?
I don't think I've listened to either ever, but maybe the Beatles.
There you well.
We thought being a London guy, you might pick the Rolling Stones.
Honestly, I've never listened to either.
Maybe Oasis or Blur is more of your era.
I think I know one Oasis song, so I'll go with Oasis.
Oasis, okay.
And this is something I enjoyed when I was up in Lancashire. Mushy peas or garden peas?
Garden peas.
Okay. Red sauce or brown sauce on your bacon butty?
Red sauce.
So, you'd be old enough for this next question. It's from Mark Hughes. Red or white wine?
I don't drink.
That's a no. Okay, with the full English, if you have a full English, would you have it with or without black pudding?
Without, definitely without.
And if you were to watch a soap opera, would it be Coronation Street or EastEnders?
I watch EastEnders, actually.
EastEnders, okay. When Tony first told me about this, he said, I'm going to ask about some soaps. And me being an American, I thought he was talking about actual soap, and it took me like 3 weeks before I found out he was talking about TV shows.
You were wondering why people weren't answering Irish Spring, weren't you?
Yeah.
And last one for me, and this is from Sean McConville, natural grass or AstroTurf, would you prefer to play on?
100% natural.
Everybody's got the same answer, Phil, on that one.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody is ever going to say AstroTurf unless they bought some stock in the company that makes AstroTurf.
Okay, Phil.
We've got a couple of North American-centric questions that we ask. One with Tony being over in Canada. The signature dish in Canada is something that's called poutine, which is chips, gravy, and cheese. And he thinks it would be a hit over in England. Would this be something you would want to try?
I'd be up for it, yeah. I like chips. I like gravy and I like cheese.
Well,
so, yeah, definitely.
Chips and gravy and throw in some cheese. Yep, good man.
And then this next one is, so over here in Phoenix, Arizona, we really like hot and spicy foods. And I noticed on Twitter yesterday that you had posted a recipe for some sweet and spicy chicken that looked really good. So I think that maybe I might know your answer on this one. We like to put jalapeno peppers on our pizza over here. Would you want to have jalapeno peppers on your pizza?
No, I don't think so. I'm not actually that big of a fan of spicy food.
Oh, okay. Well, I just saw that video you posted on Twitter yesterday, so I thought maybe you were a spicy food guy. So would you be more of a pineapple on your pizza? That was actually what Joe Bursick said, is that he likes pineapple on the pizza.
No, definitely not pineapple. I'd go at barbecue. I'm a big fan of barbecue.
Barbecue, okay. Well,
meat.
Barbecue is one of the main food groups over here in the States. I think you did pretty well over here. we certainly like to barbecue. What other questions did we get through all of them there, Tony?
I think we did on the rapid fire ones. There was another one that I forget who put this forward, but season 2 of Sunderland Till I Die is on Netflix. Is that a program that you would watch?
Yes, I was actually planning on watching it later today.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm planning to watch that here too. I thought season 1 was great. Did you watch the first season on that?
No, I wanted to. Well, I was going to, but then I didn't watch it for a little while, and then I just didn't end up watching it. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm definitely going to watch season 2 because I've heard quite a few things about it.
Well, as a player, I think that would be interesting from your point of view, watching something, how a story is told, and you could probably, I haven't seen it yet, but I would think there's some things in there you could probably relate to.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the stuff I've been hearing, I'm quite interested to see, so I'll have a watch later, definitely.
Yeah, you have to hit us up on Twitter later after you do watch it and kind of let us know what you thought about the series, because we're going to be watching it and posting about it too. And like I said, the first season, it was just really, to me, the most interesting part was how deep they go into the actual inner workings of the team. And it's just, kind of things that you don't really ever get a chance to see, and I'm excited for season 2. And I do know that there is some Accrington footage in season 2 from when you guys played Sunderland last year. So there'll be a little bit of Accrington. I think it was episode 4. They said that Accrington's in.
So that should be interesting. Yeah.
A couple of things I just wanted to touch on, and one is related to Accrington, and I want to just go back afterwards about the West Ham and a question about England. But with Mark Hughes there playing centre back and Ross Sykes, 2 players, obviously a veteran and a young player coming in. Do you learn from players like that when you observe and practice with them? Do they help your development as well?
Yeah, I think Yoza, I've learned a lot from like the first day I walked in, just like his mannerisms, the way he plays. He's always like talking to me when we play together on the pitch. Ross, he's played a lot of games as well at a young age, and I can always learn from him as well. But yeah, I think every time I step on the pitch, it's an opportunity to learn, no matter who I'm playing with next to me. You can like learn from them and learn their style of play and whatnot. So yeah, definitely. Every time I step on the pitch, I'm always learning from them too.
And one of the things I've always, been interested in, I've never had a chance to ask somebody this question before. And as a boy growing up in England, around when they won the World Cup, and putting the England shirt on. And I want to ask you, as somebody who's represented his country, what is it like to put the Three Lions shirt on for the first time and walk out on that pitch?
It's honestly one of the best feelings. The first time I played for England, I was actually captain. So having that sense of leadership was just amplified at times. It was honestly one of the best feelings.
That has to be a huge honor to be named captain. I'm sure that's a good feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, you've played in a lot of different places and tournaments with England. What's the most exotic, or what's the nicest place, or one of those places that you've been that you could tell us about?
I'd say the nicest place we've been to is Rio in Brazil. So we went out to Rio for 12 days, I believe, at the end of 2016.
Excellent.
So it was absolutely beautiful. We spent like 11 days in a hotel around their like training centre, so like the equivalent of St George's Park. Played 2 matches against them, and then the last night we spent the night on a hotel with with a view of the Copacabana.
Oh, outstanding!
Okay.
It was absolutely beautiful.
Is this around the time? Oh, is that around the time of the Olympics or before or afterwards?
Before it would have been.
Okay. Well, that's and that's an opportunity. Obviously, you get when you play with your country. Is well, it's just a reward, but also it's outstanding that you can in the country of Brazil where football is so revered that you're leading out England onto a pitch in Brazil. That's quite a story, and that's quite something to have on your resume.
One thing I wanted to ask about, and this kind of goes back to Accrington, but this was something that I had written down to ask you about that I forgot where the Accrington part was. To me, your kind of signature game so far this season was that EFL Trophy game against the Liverpool under-21s, where you were man of the match in that game. Tell us a little bit about that game.
That game was, I think, end of October time. I'd had a bit of a run in the team, and we went out, played the game. Actually went 1-0 down early on, which was a bit of a shock. Got an equaliser soon after. We pushed on, we went like 5-1 up, and then conceded a late goal. It was a very good team performance. The crowd were right behind us. It was a good match to watch. Like,
it really was. It was a fun one to watch, and you did a lot in terms of moving the ball forward. And you actually didn't you have a goal in that game that ended up getting called back?
Yeah, that was early on in the first half when we were 1-0 down. Went up for a corner. I probably should have actually scored. It was quite slippery. Mistimed the slide to put in the back of the net, and then it ended up going in, but got called back for a foul.
I think it's a goalkeeper interference or something like that. I thought it should have been a good goal myself, but of course I'm biased being an Accrington fan. But I just remembered that game. You were all over the pitch, and you were named man at the match, and that's kind of your signature game with Accrington to me so far.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Yeah.
When your loan was extended, Aji, in January till the end of the season, is that something that West Ham would initiate, or Accrington would go to the club and say we want him to stay, or is that something you as a player would have input?
It was a mixture of all three parties. So I think West Ham kind of like looked at how I was progressing at Accrington and like were happy with that. So they asked me, "Would you like to stay?" And then straight away I was like, yes. Like I was happy staying at Accrington, and I guess West Ham then initiated contact with Accrington to like get it agreed for me to stay until the end of the season.
So playing for with under John Coleman and Jimmy Bell and John Doolins, obviously your club West Ham are happy with the coaching and managementship you're getting. That's got to say a lot for the people at Stanley.
Yeah, the coaching at Accrington's like it's top draw. Coaches from West Ham regularly come to watch our matches, so I'm sure they've spoken to John, and Jim. So I'm sure they're very happy with them, and there's no reason not to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of, and I think they're probably getting more recognition now at the coaching staff at Accrington. Simply, you can tell by the quality of loanees that are coming in, like yourself and Joe. We're seeing that now more and more, and that's got to be a testament to the coaching staff, and I think it's well worth it too, because without those gentlemen at Accrington, they wouldn't be in League One.
Yeah, definitely not. Where the club is at the moment, it's in a very good position, and that's testament to all that they've done over the years, and I'm sure they'll continue to do that. But the way they work, the way the club is run, they're only going to go upwards from here.
There's not many sort of management teams that are in the professional game these days that this consistency, and they're going to be with the club for a long while. And just down the road from them is another example, Sean Dyche at Burnley. But it must be nice as a player knowing that those people that are teaching you day in and day out are going to be there long term.
Yeah, definitely. You know that they're not going to go anywhere. You know that they love the club, sort of thing. So yeah, it's very good that and you don't see it often, managers staying at clubs for a long time. So it's good.
What would you say is the biggest difference in the quality of play between League One and then the under-21 team at West Ham? Is it just that you're playing against guys with more experience, or what's been the biggest difference on the pitch?
I'd say the biggest difference is just playing against players with more experience. Sometimes you'll come off in League One against players that have played hundreds of games, that some play in the Prem and Champ, and whereas in the under-21s, it's mainly like teenagers and who haven't played men's football. So that experience, you learn a lot in League One from playing those games rather than playing the under-21s games.
So would you say that there's just a lower margin of error? Because I think that's what a lot of guys have said, that if they jump up from League Two or the conference, that there's just a smaller margin of error, that maybe if you make a mistake, that's more likely to end up in the back of the net. Would you say that that's probably similar in terms of that?
Yeah, I'd say that's true. I think the higher you go up, the higher the level you go up, the smaller the margin for error is. So I think going from under-21s to League One, you can make less mistakes before you're conceding goals and the fingers pointed at you saying what's going on.
And I suppose at that level too, in League One, the quality of the strikers that you face in League One would be a heck of a lot different than when you're with the under-21s at West Ham.
Yeah, some of the strikers that we come up against in League One have played hundreds of games, and some of them have played it in the Prem, in the Champ. So they're experienced players and they're top-level players. So you can't take it off the ball. Whereas 21s matches, a lot of players are coming through. They're younger, they're less experienced. So different type of challenge.
Absolutely. I think that's what we've heard from everybody is just that, like you said, as you move up through the tiers, you play more experienced guys, more skilled strikers, and the margin of error is just a little bit less. Now, I think that was most of the questions that I had here on my list. What did you have, Tony, that we hadn't gotten to here today?
Well, just one follow-up question. We talked earlier on about your contract with West Ham. You got one more year. Are the hopes to stay at West Ham, or what's your sort of outlook on your career as it grows?
Honestly, I haven't thought too much about it at the moment. I still have one more year at West Ham, so I guess I'll go back there in pre-season, work my hardest, and a decision will be made then, as in whether I stay at West Ham for the whole of next season or go on loan again like I did this year.
Was West Ham a team that you grew, living in London? Was that your team of choice at West Ham, or did you follow another team?
I'm actually an Arsenal supporter because I was born in North London. Where I live is just on the outskirts of London. It's called Essex. So West Ham is the major club here, and I live 5 minutes from the training ground. So,
well, when I was a young fella, I had season tickets for a team that also wears the claret and blue, but that was Burnley, just down the road from Accrington. But I know it's a unique strip, and to have three teams in the Premier League with the same color scheme is pretty unique, I think, because you don't see that elsewhere.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah, it's just it's not even a color that we really have over here this side.
No, you just don't see that combination much, and each team has their own unique strips, and the Hammers obviously have a different combination to Burnley, but I think it's a good color scheme, and
I agree.
Yeah, I think, and just to wrap up on my end, congratulations on your English career, and may long may it continue, and we wish you all the best if we can get back to playing football at Stanley, and whatever happens at Stanley, all the best for you in your future endeavors on the pitch.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Well, absolutely. And was there, we always ask at the end, was there anything that we hadn't asked you about that we missed or skipped over that you wanted to make sure that we talked about with you today?
Nothing that I can think of off the top of my head, man.
Well, like Tony said, we really appreciate you coming on the show, and we've really enjoyed watching you play with Stanley this year, and we like he said, congratulations on your English career. We expect to see that you're going to have a long and successful career ahead at West Ham or wherever it may take you, and we'll be cheering you on wherever it is.
Yeah, we certainly hope and expect to see you in the Premier League in the not too distant future.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and on Stanley on.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have a good one, Aji.